What's going on, fam?
Hey, Bridging the Gap is Cheryl and
Roger. Guys, we're going to do a brief video, and this one truly is going to be brief. We just want to discuss this situation with a Tatiana. Did I say her name right? Is it Davis?
Jefferson.
A Tatiana Jefferson, young lady who was also killed in her home here in Dallas by police.
Fort Worth, which is very close.
Yeah, Dallas, Fort Worth area. So, I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to say in this video. I know that we've made this commitment to address these topics. And we want you guys to have an outlet to address and bounce stuff off of one another. Yeah, this one makes me mad. Ain't no way around it. This one makes me mad. This young lady is in her own home minding her business with her nephew. Police are called out for a welfare check.
Wellness.
Well, that's a welfare check. Wellness, welfare, same thing. Somebody's concerned about someone. What are they doing in the backyard? Why would you be in somebody's back? A welfare check is a simple knock on the door. Hey, how you doing? Why are you in the backyard in the first place? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, for those who may not have heard, because some are our subscribers and people who view us may not have heard about this. So this woman was in her home with her nephew playing video games, and she was shot and killed by a police officer.
Without any notification of who he was. So here's how it played
Through
out.
a window.
Through a window.
Inside her home.
Right. So they're playing video games. She recognizes, looks outside and sees some flashlights in the backyard. If I'm in my home and I see flashlights in my backyard, I'm going to see what's going on too, right? So she goes to the door, not outside. Mm-hmm. The cop sees her, says...
I think she went to a window, didn't she?
He shot her through glass. I don't know if it's a glass door or a glass window, but she went to go see what was going on. The cop recognized her, barked an order at her, and lit her up in 4 seconds.
Yes.
In 4 seconds.
Never identified himself as a police officer.
So I tell you to show me your hands or whatever the order was, command he gave her. She didn't comply in 4 seconds time to somebody in her backyard that she can't see in the dark with a flashlight, and he shot her dead in 4 seconds.
In front of her nephew.
Right.
Who's about, I think, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Witnessed this.
The nephew's mother found out about this from her child who watched it. Yeah.
There's just no excuse. There's no excuse. This would not have happened if they were in a predominantly white neighborhood. It just would not have happened.
You wouldn't even been in the backyard.
No.
If it's a predominantly white neighborhood. And even if you were in the backyard,
you would have shot.
The police, you would have said something. You would have at least announced yourself.
Right.
He shot this woman, and then, well, let's go on beyond that. After this all took place, the cop was going to be investigated, and he quit before. Actually, he was going to be fired. He quit before they could fire him. It does appear now, or at least a couple days ago, he was arrested. He was behind bars. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's
charged with murder.
They charged him with murder.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a surprise in and of itself. Mm-hmm. Even under these circumstances, it's good to hear they're moving in the right direction. I don't know if he's still in jail. Was he bailed out? Did they offer him bail? Do you know?
I don't know.
Here's what they're trying to say about the woman, which really pisses me off. They're saying there was a gun in the house. So what? So what? Texas is an open carry state. You can definitely conceal carry in your own home, but I don't even think they're saying that she had a gun
anywhere near her.
In her possession. After the fact, they're trying to spin this and say there was a gun in the house. How would you know that in 4 seconds?
Right. In the dark.
In her backyard.
Right.
Like she ain't got no business asking, trying to find out what's going on in her backyard. The family is calling for a federal investigation, saying Fort Worth can't investigate this, and I'm in agreement with that. Mm-hmm. I'm in 100% agreement with that, just based on the fact that you're already talking about a gun in the house. like she's not entitled to have a gun in her
Right.
house.
Right.
Especially in Texas. These folks carry out here everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. If you remember when they had the demonstrations downtown over one of these shooting incidents a couple of years ago, there was a brother that was walking around with like an AK or an AR-15 strapped over his shoulder. Remember that? Openly carrying because you can. And it just to be on display. Look, if they can carry like this openly, why can't we carry like this openly? None of that has anything to do with anything. This woman is in her house.
Right.
And you cannot know what she has in 4 seconds. And you have no right to know if you have not identified yourself.
Exactly.
And she's not here because you've done none of that. If they don't throw the book at this cat, if he gets 10 years like Amber Geiger, oh, there's going to be smoke in the city. There's going to be problems. This is unacceptable. Absolutely. There's just no other way to look at this. It's unacceptable. So, beyond addressing what happened and how foul it is, I want to say this. We can expect these things to continue. This is why we started this channel. We need to take a deep look into what's going on now. We have to start with the history of where this all came from, because none of this is by accident. None of it's a mistake, and it's going to get worse before it gets better, folks. It is going to get worse, and it's enough to make you angry, and it's enough to make...
Nobody wants to hear that. How much worse can it get?
We never thought...
You can't be in your house.
You can't go to an Airbnb. You can't get a Starbucks. You can't take a nap on campus of the school you participate. You're enrolled in.
Can't get stopped by the police and just get a ticket like everybody else.
It's going to get worse. But all of these things have been. This is just the last few years. The scenarios we're talking about now. It's not going to just stop, and there's a reason for that. We're going to get to that. We got to get through the history piece first, but we are going to get to why things are what they are right now. Because I'm telling you, it's if we don't wrap our mind around where we're at and what's coming, it's gonna make you get to a place where it's gonna be angry. You're gonna be angry enough to want to do something, right? And I don't think that's the answer here. At least not yet. But there's going to come a time where people are going to say enough is enough, and it's time to take things into our own hands. And
at some point, we may need to go there.
May need to go there. I don't see that happening. I don't see that as necessary. And my goal is to reveal to you all why. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but well, let's just say this: if this dude doesn't get murdered and doesn't get more than the 10 years Amber Geiger got, there's no telling. There's
Black
literally...
folks get 10 years for stealing a pack of gum.
Oh, man.
So...
Get 10 years for sneezing wrong in the wrong neighborhood. I mean, 10 years for killing somebody in their home. But this right here, at least she was in uniform. She was a cop. She didn't need to. I mean, I'm not justifying...
Oh, you're talking about the
Amber Geiger. This woman's in her house seeing flashlights, don't have no idea who's in her backyard. And before you announce anything or she can say or do anything, you take her life. In 4 seconds, you start firing shots. If this dude gets 10 years, there's going to be problems. I mean, real problems. And I'm glad.
I think the family already said ain't going to be no hugging and forgiveness going on.
Yeah. I got nothing. I get where these folks are coming from with the Amber Geiger thing, and I get where these folks are coming from now. If they were to forgive, man, they'd be better than me. I'm just gonna be real. This one here is out of control. All of it's out of control, but this right here is just blatant. We will take your life whenever we feel like it. This was a welfare check, folks. Nobody said there was a burglar or a prowler or somebody selling drugs or gangster. Man,
it was apparently the neighbor called because I think maybe her door was open.
And they don't usually have their door open. So he was concerned. Why has that door been open so long? Could somebody go check on my neighbor? He don't want to put himself in harm's way if something's going on. Now he's feeling guilty for trying to check on his neighbor because she's not here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
How insane is that? You
Mhm.
called the police because they're what? They're supposed to protect and serve the community. You call them to make sure they're doing their job and to check on a neighbor and make sure they're all right. And the person you called to check on them kills them. What kind of guilt is he carrying right now?
Who?
The neighbor.
Oh, the neighbor. Yeah.
Just he's feeling like if I would have never called, she'd still be
And he
there.
said as much.
Yeah,
Like,
he
that's
said
how
it on the
feels.
news. I mean, none of this makes any sense, but it's not going to. It ain't never going to make sense, which is why we got to get some perspective on it before it gets more out of hand than what it already is.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the times we live in, and there's a reason for it. And as we start to see it play out, if we can get in front of it and understanding why it is what it is and that it's going to continue, maybe we can maintain a sense of control ourselves. Because this right here make you want to hurt somebody, and that's just not, it ain't the right thing to do. And historically speaking, it's not who we are. That's not what we do.
Well, what have we done? Is that what we do? And we're still here in this situation. So it's time to do something different.
We're going to get into that. Because all of this was spoken of well before it happened, right?
I know.
So
I'm just saying.
We are where we are for a reason. And we knew, and when we knew it was coming, those of us who know knew. So we can't point fingers at did we do the right? No, what was we'll get into all that later. It's too much to talk about now. But once we have an understanding of why these things are taking place and why it is what it is, it'll help you wrap your mind around what to do with this information. Because if you're just dealing with it from I'm sick of them shooting us up, it's going to drive people over the edge. And we don't want that. Because there's better out there for us in time. And give us a minute, stay on the journey. And we'll get you there. But yeah, I feel like I'm rambling because I don't know what to say. This is insane. It's insane. This woman was playing video games and she's no longer here. 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and he lit her up. And never said, I'm the police in your backyard.
Right. Because they automatically go into certain neighborhoods
and see certain skin tones.
And assume
something's wrong.
Worse versus, always. You know.
And this just goes to show us it's not about black men. Yes, they see us as dangerous and scary. And how scary can a woman be who's playing video games with her nephew? It ain't about black men. It's about black, period. Mm-hmm. Period. End of story. I'm somewhere in a neighborhood full of these people. Mm-hmm. And I look up and immediately you're a threat.
Mm-hmm. And we're not the ones predominantly shooting and killing police.
No. No. Yeah, it's. And
to say, some people say, well, they need more training and all that kind of stuff. No, because they can restrain themselves in certain situations.
With white folks.
So it's not the training. Unless the training is when you see somebody black, shoot first, ask questions later, which that would not surprise me. But
I've seen too many scenarios where dudes with guns firing at the police were taken alive.
Yeah.
And we have,
or threatening police. There was one just last week going around on video. He's threatening the police out there swinging something at the police officer, told the officer that he's going to die. Now, yes, the man seemed like he was, a little off, but since when has that mattered?
He's still breathing. And we don't have to have any weapons. We don't have to make any threats. We don't have to say or do anything to leave here permanently. And it's troubling, man. And like I said, it's not just black men, it's black people, period. But as a man, to have a woman leave this planet simply because she's black like this, it pisses me off. I mean, this dude cannot get 10 years. Can't. I don't know who out there is listening to this that may be on this jury in Texas. he cannot get in 10 years, or there's going to be problems. And I hope to God they recognize that. This is not okay. So with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and hop off of here. Drop your comments in. I know people are going to be angry. Get it off your chest. Don't harbor that stuff. And we got one more video. Well, I don't know. Maybe a couple more videos. But we're going to get through the rest of this history part of it so we can get into today and why. Why it is what it is. Real quick here. All right? You guys have a good day, and we will catch up with you soon.
Bye.